Hello everyone, welcome back to the ObaNutrition channel. Today in this video, I'll be tackling a question: is meat really harmful? My answer to this question is yes and no. It is partly true that meat could be harmful to your health, especially if you are ailing from metabolic illnesses, and it is also partly false that it is harmful to your health. So you cannot straight away say that it is harmful or it is not harmful. So in this video, I will tackle both sides of it. I will start with why is it not harmful to your health. The first reason is that we are actually consuming lesser meat compared to our ancestors who are hunters and gatherers. I am very aware of the situation right now where we are having either a relative or a neighbor or even a friend who is actually ailing from cancer or even cardiac disease, hypertension, or diabetes. I'm very much aware of that, of which this was not happening in the earlier days when our ancestors were basically hunters and gatherers consuming wild game meat or even lots of cows, sheep, and goats. For example, look at the Maasai. Their diet is mostly animal based, taking meat, milk, and blood. Yet they have a very low prevalence of something like cancer or even heart disease. Check at the Hadza tribe of Tanzania. The same scenario with them. They are consuming even baboons, monkeys. Yet there is very low prevalence of even something like arthritis with them. And these are people who actually walk lots of kilometers trying to hunt for meat. Look at the Congo tribes, which actually live in the Congo forest. The same case with them, consuming elephants, antelopes. Yet they have no incidences, or they have very little incidences of metabolic illnesses. So by association, meat doesn't actually correlate with the fact that it is a causative nutrient when it comes to heart disease, hypertension, or even diabetes. The other reason as to why is it false, especially pertaining to diabetes, is because meat doesn't contain any gram of sugar, or if it contains, it is actually minute decimals. And I will challenge you to actually Google this or even use ChatGPT. How much sugar is in meat? You'd realize that it is very little. Yet sugar is the primary factor that causes diabetes. Also, I'm aware is that meat has protein and fats, of which protein stimulates insulin very moderately, while fats do not stimulate insulin at all. They have very little effect. So if it contains only two of these nutrients, which do not have a greater effect to insulin, why is it being associated with causing diabetes? So it is actually false. What causes diabetes is sugar and not meat. Now I'll go to the second bit of it. Why is it true that meat could actually be harmful? The first reason is that the meat we consume nowadays is very much adulterated during production. For example, for those who say they prefer white meat over red meat, saying that it is actually is better for their health. This is a false, I would say, doctrine to actually use to guide your health, because nowadays production of white meat is not as it was before. Farmers growing white meat such as chicken, they are either using a lot of medications or even feeding this chicken what they do not naturally eat quite often in nature, using much of commercial feeds which do not have vegetables, insects, maggots, worms, and even grass. Much of these commercial feeds have wheat and maize and other type of cereals. So what ends up happening is that this meat has higher content of omega-6 fats than the omega-3 fats, thereby causing much more inflammation. This not only is happening with white meat production but also red meat production. It is not yet here in African countries mostly, but in the Western countries, we are finding that many cows are reared upon commercial feeds that do not have sufficient grass of which these cows normally eat. So with such kind of production, it means that these cows or the beef that comes from these cows has very high content of omega-6 fats than omega-3 fats. Thus, it can cause you to having more inflammation. And you find that in these Western countries, beef is actually labeled as grass-fed, so that to be able to guide you if you are very cautious about your health. The other reason as to why it's true that it could be actually harmful to your health is that there's much more consumption of fake meats and cured meats. There's a lot of fake meats such as saucy, smokies, even there are those flavors that are supposed to give you a meat flavor into your food, especially if you're unable to access meat, such as the beef cubes. All this kind of fake meat is not good for your health. Also, there are the cured meats. These are cured meats that are very rich in monosodium glutamate. This MSG is not good for your cardiac health, hypertension, and even cancer, peptic ulcers, arthritis. Not good for you at all. And these kind of cured meats include bacon, sausages, hot dogs, hamburgers. All these kind of cured meats are not safe for your own health. So this is why it's also true that meat could be harmful to your health. The third reason as to why meat could be harmful to your health is that how we are consuming meat nowadays. Nowadays, people are consuming meat alongside alcohol, wheat, and sugar. Now, sugar, wheat, and alcohol are the biggest causes of metabolic illnesses currently. If you're consuming a diet high in sugar, you're most likely going to end up with diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, kidney failure. If you're consuming a diet very high in alcohol, you're most likely to end up with something like stomach cancer, liver cirrhosis. The same thing with wheat. If you're consuming lots of wheat and sugar, you're going to end up with fatty liver disease, as well as colon cancer and other metabolic illnesses. Now, if you consume meat alongside these toxic foods, the thing is going to happen at the following two. Number one, there's going to be production of advanced glycation end products. These advanced glycation end products are actually the biggest cause of cancer right now. That's why there's an association that is being made of meat and cancer. Yet it's not meat that is actually contributing it. It is how it is being consumed alongside other foods. Because once you consume meat alongside sugar, you're going to cause production of advanced glycation end products. They can also cause cardiac disease, reproductive health ailments, even skin ailments such as eczema, acne, psoriasis, and even mental health problems. The other thing that is also going to happen if you consume meat alongside alcohol or wheat and sugar is production of the insulin-like growth factor. Now imagine I'm not saying you're going to have, but in a situation where there's growth of inflammatory cells, let's say like fibroids, when there's production of the insulin-like growth factor, these fibroid cells are going to have stimulated growth quite much over a short period of time, because meat is protein and protein causes growth, and meat is actually very quality protein. So if you're consuming the cause together with something that actually will cause growth, there's going to be overproduction of these cells. That's why even when we are talking about meat being harmful, if you are taking sugar alongside meat and you're having cancer, those cancerous cells will overgrow because you have combined the cause, which is sugar, together with something that can actually promote growth. So if you are ailing from such a condition, it's very important for you to remove the sugar, the cause, so that the effect that is going to come from the insulin-like growth factor will be very minimal. So those are the reasons as to why it could be partly true that meat is actually harmful, and also very much false that meat is harmful. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you have learned one or two things. See you next time.